All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's guest is someone I've got a lot of respect for. He's been my personal trainer for a few months in the past, and honestly, he has played a huge role for start my own fitness journey. And more than that, he also inspired me to go after something a little bit more crazy, such as triathlon training. He's a serious athlete himself. He's an ex-bodybuilder, a triathlete, and an Ironman finisher, and the founder of Become Performance, a multidisciplinary performance company that works with elite level athletes such as motorsport, drivers, swimmers, males and females bodybuilder, and more. Danilo Coppola, welcome to the channel. It's really nice to have you here.
Hi, Amos. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, actually. And
Thank
good to
you
see
for
you as
coming.
well.
So, are you ready for the questions to just dive straight in?
Yeah. I mean, we had a bit of the catch up on the behind the scene in Italian, but yeah, we can go straight into the
Yeah.
questions. I think we will then dive into more personal stuff towards the
Let's
end,
see.
so
Let's
it's
see how
fine.
we manage with the English.
Well, I've been in Italy for 3 months, and I think my accent is got really stronger now. So I hope it's
Yeah, they're
I'm
proper
actually
Italian.
I'm actually trying to speak as British as I can because it's my accent wants to come out.
Don't
And
worry,
plus
we understand.
I'm from Calabria, so the accent is even stronger from the south. So
Yeah,
forgive
no,
me.
don't worry, don't worry. I'm sure we all can understand, and whoever watches this video. Um, so,
We
all
can put
right,
subtitles in case.
yeah, we'll put the subtitles. Let's just make it up. All right, so let's take it back. So, how did your fitness journey begin? Just for the listener to know.
Yeah. So my fitness journey began in maybe 20 years ago now. And the reason was because I was always being picked up at school as a skinny guy.
Hmm.
So I tried several sports. I always loved sports, so I tried several sports and went into swimming, football, basketball, which probably has been my favorite one until I ended up into the gym floor, and that's where I started to notice the difference as I trained because obviously I was getting a bit bigger. I was starting as a 52 kilograms, and after 1 year I reached 64 or something like that. So I could see the difference, and that's where I decided to stick. Obviously, I think it was a massive uh, mental change because I saw myself gaining more confidence,
Hmm.
also being felt more um, secure about myself, more and my self-esteem grew, obviously. So with time, I started to fell in love with bodybuilding and the gym, let's say, in the fitness more and more.
And what drew you to the gym in the first place? So I know you said you were the skinny guy and you were picked up. We were picked on for it, but you were swimming, basketball, football, and all those sports that are not really making you grow. They're not make grow muscle basically. So what
No,
brought you to the
exactly.
gym? What
Honestly,
was the moment?
girls.
All right.
Honestly,
The reason behind every teenager.
yes, exactly. So I believe at least the 16-year-old who starts the gym are they go to the gym for the same reasons, at least majority of them. I think to be honest, I got like another refusal from another girl, so I was like, okay, I need to change this situation. So if we want to be more philosophical, I took control of my own misfortune.
Hmm.
If we want to just be honest, it was just girls.
Just girls.
Yes, just girls. Just I
All
want to be
right.
more attractive and more uh, successful with girls.
I mean, it's a fair reason. That reason
Yeah,
made you work out and achieve the goal you wanted. So
whatever it
whatever you
works,
need
no?
for that, it works. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So
So I part of doing this interview as well is because I started my journey to triathlon, and I was highly inspired by you because when you were my personal trainer, you were basically doing your journey as a triathlete and did your Ironman in that time as well. So when was the time for you where you decided to shift to endurance sports such triathlon?
Um, that was so I always kind of ran in the past, but I think the pivot point, turning point was in 2020, where I decided to go for I started to look at the fitness journey, not just building muscle, but also more into the longevity
Hmm.
um, like realm. So I started to think, okay, I need to really dial in the cardiovascular benefits. I need to be not only maybe strong and bigger, but also I want to obviously be healthier, but at the same time be more functional. So despite I kept my gym training almost the same, I just simply adding running. And that was in 2020 when I enrolled into my first Oxford, no, Town and Gown in Oxford, just a
Hmm.
10K. Simple 10K with no training whatsoever. And I felt like great after the finishing line. I was like I did almost like I did an Ironman at the time.
Yeah.
And then he moved on into Oxford Half Marathon, and kept running throughout my training. So I added it as a conditioning side of the framework, the training
Hmm.
framework. So that's where it really started.
That's great. And so this transition, what was it like mentally and physically? Because of course, when you add cardio to strength training, it's very easy to lose
Mm.
part of the muscle mass, and that can impact mentally a lot of people. How did you deal with that? Were you okay with that? It didn't really impact you, or?
So it didn't really impact me until I started triathlon full time. And the reason being because obviously it's drawn upon my professional background, but I knew that in order to maintain the muscle mass or even to grow, I needed to periodize my training, but above all, I needed to eat in order not to be in an hypocaloric in a deficit. So that was the main. I really thought about it very irrationally. If I started to add more output, so I'm burning more calories through running, obviously I need to eat more, and that wasn't a problem, to be
Mhm.
honest. So I simply started to adjust my dieting. It was difficult mentally, especially because as I was improving, I was sort of, as I said before, I started my fitness journey because I always been skinny. So when, especially at the beginning, when I was trying to find this balance between gym and running, there was some drawback. So I was starting to lose some muscles, obviously, or at least I looked a little bit uh, less bigger, a bit smaller.
Yeah.
And when I had people telling me, "Oh, you lost some weight," that affected me mentally. But in a way, I use that as a driving factor to, okay, I need to look at my training. I need to see where the part I'm missing, and I need to adjust that. So I probably um, uh, work towards it very rationally. But I think I was able to do so because I had a background into coaching and nutrition by the time.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And what about when you started running? Because I shared my experience within my YouTube channel, and a few months ago I could barely run 5 minutes, and now I
Hmm.
managed to run. But I really, really struggled the first 4, 6 weeks. Was that the same for you, even though you were of a higher fitness level than I was, of course, or
Yes.
where you just went into running and you were great?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Actually, I think it's because we think of, I mean, running cardiovascular conditioning is completely different from what we do in the gym, obviously. Yes, you might look fit, but if your heart is not uh, fit, as well as good as your biceps for that matter, you're not gonna be good anyway at running, even though you might not carry extra weight. So when I started running, I obviously did all the mistakes possible. Thankfully, I had at the time I was working in Bad Gym where we used to train.
Yeah.
So I had some good runners as well, other coaches that were able to advise me. Yet I definitely had to climb the ladder. Definitely um, started from the back. What I can tell you, however, is that I did much more improvements than I do now. So, for instance, when I was running a 5K, I wasn't really periodizing my training as in doing aerobic base and the more intense work. I was just going all out most of the time,
Yeah.
and it obviously was a problem. So, however, despite doing that, I could see how going from 35 minutes to 30 minutes to 28 minutes and so on, it took way less than now. I
Yeah.
think that's the sort of newbie gains in cardiovascular in training.
Yeah. And when you start running, it's very easy to just run and go straight on in zone
Yeah,
4, zone 5, and be
yeah,
out of breath in seconds
yeah,
because it's either that or walk.
yeah. No, exactly, exactly. Yeah, you don't see just to only to either you walk or you just go all
Yeah.
out and you
Yeah.
want to go
So
as
for
fast
for
as you
for
can.
anybody that's listening, if you just start running and you are rubbish at it and you hate it, it's normal.
That's
It will
fine.
get better.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
will get
yeah,
better.
yeah.
All
Absolutely,
right.
it's fine.
Uh, so, and when was the moment that you realized and you said, I want to take this further. I want to do an Ironman.
Uh, well, actually, that's a funny story. I always wanted to do an Ironman. But I never had the courage to do it. I always thought of the Ironman as this impossible task to achieve. Until I was out for work and a friend of mine was actually he just called me and he asked me if I wanted to do an Ironman and I just said yes, I always wanted to. And then when I was coming back to the UK, we would have talked about it. 10 minutes after, he actually called me again and he says that he joined an Ironman in New Zealand. So I was like, okay, hold on, I'm not gonna like buy the race yet, but by the time I was back, I then bought the race in New Zealand. So it's one of those things that uh, it came. I didn't
Yeah.
really prepare for it. As we said earlier, I didn't really prepare for it. I don't think you can prepare for the first time, and you just don't know what you're facing.
Yeah. You just show up
Eh,
and hope for the best.
yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, absolutely. You can try
But
to
it sounds
plan it,
pretty
but
amazing. An Ironman in New Zealand, just out of nowhere
yeah,
from one day to the other. Sounds pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that I decided, you know what? I've always been also the type of guy, if you tell me I cannot do it, I try to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So when I got some people telling me, oh, you're just going from running and doing some bits of at the time I wasn't even swimming. I didn't even know
Okay.
how to swim. So we just decided to basically, I didn't even have a bike, by the way. Just to explain you. Uh, and we everything happened later. So it's one of those things that if you think about it too long, you always find an excuse not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but you just have to put a pin in your calendar and do it. So this is for
Yeah.
you. Just put that pin in
Yeah.
your calendar and
Yeah, I mean,
do the
I've done that
Ironman.
with my sprint triathlon. I've been training for
Yeah,
2 months. I'm nowhere near ready for it, but I'm doing it anyway, and
yeah.
I am sure it's going to be amazing. And I'll have a blast, basically.
What are you doing the sprints?
In Henley on Thames, so the swimming is going to be in the river, so I'm going to
Okay,
have the current going one way and the current against me going the other way.
okay.
And bear in mind, I haven't done open water swimming with a wetsuit yet. I've done plenty of lake swimming in Italy, but always just for fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've probably done more than 750 meters, but never in in open water with a wetsuit racing. Basically, that's gonna be my
So,
first one. I wanted to do it, like you suggested. You, to be fair, you suggested to me to go and do it and practice it, but I didn't have the time to do it. So I just show up and
man,
see how it
it's
goes.
fine. Just
A
exactly.
friend of
Yeah, that's.
mine, a friend of mine suggested to me to start at the back so I don't
Mm.
get drowned by other people if we all start together. I said, yeah, don't worry, I'll probably be at the
So
back.
that's actually a good point. I would suggest you though to stay kind of in the middle of the pack because you can get a lot of drafting.
Yeah. Okay.
Towards the end, you're gonna get people that are not very secure, and then
And I
people
need
that
to
are
pass
gonna
them and
go slow
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not
I'm
gonna
not
really
that
get
I'm not
drafted.
that slow. I mean, I'm not the fastest, but I can swim in less than 2 minutes per 100, which is average, but is on the
That's,
higher end of average.
that's right. That's fine.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, to also answer your question before, before doing the Ironman in New Zealand, we decided to try triathlon, and we went for a sprint
yeah,
in London, a challenge London,
yeah,
and that was a nightmare. The swim part especially was a nightmare. After that, I honestly said I'm not gonna do this again,
yeah.
especially the open water. I always fear the open water.
I must
And
admit that that's the thing that scares me. The swim is the thing that I'm most scared of.
uh, my best advice, and to this day, it still scares me. I'm really scared of open water. Um, I found this strategy that works for me. If you can go and do a swim before obviously everything starts, if they allow you to,
Oh,
sometimes
in
they
the
do even
morning.
in the morning or even the day
Okay.
before. So you have a taste of the water, a taste of the field.
I better
Uh, it,
don't taste the water on the Thames or I'll get
no,
some disease.
do not. We did the challenge London in a dock. I swear, I kid you not, the water was green. I could not see anything. All I could feel were people trying to pass me and shouting. Um, but you do get out. I mean, there are many ways to. I remember actually my first swim in the Challenge London. I wasn't even putting my head down. I was just
Yeah,
swimming like a dog,
like a
like
dog.
that, like that. I was like, it's only 750 minutes. Fuck it, I'm just gonna, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna dog it.
yeah,
But in New Zealand, I did that. In New Zealand, I went for a swim the day before, completely panicked out.
yeah.
And then, however, the day of the race, I felt much more comfortable because I knew already what I was about to do.
Yeah, also
So
because an Ironman is quite a long swim. It's about an hour, isn't it, or more?
it can be more. It depends on how good you are.
Yeah, I mean it's 3.9K, isn't it, or something
It's
like that.
3.9, 3.8,
Yeah,
3.8,
it's a
but
long
yeah,
swim. I
yeah.
don't think
And
I mean I can do probably 1.5 now without stopping. But
man, the GPS say for what 5.1. I think we kind of got lost at some point. We weren't even, yeah. So I'm telling you, everything that could
yeah,
happen in the Ironman did.
but you got to the
Uh,
finish line.
Yeah, it's just up to it's that's the thing. It's um you work so hard to get to the finish line, to even to get to New Zealand to the day. That then I think it's more than a physical battle, it's a mind battle. So you just have to keep repeating yourself,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna give up. And you do that for about 10 hours. But after a while you just get used to that.
So we talked before we started the interview about me signing up for the half Ironman in Cervia in Italy, and you told me I should do that. So let's do that. I'll do my sprint, and
Hmm.
then I'll look up the one in Cervia and I'll sign up for it.
Yeah, 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 go for it.
And that's in a year time, so it gives me the time to prepare mentally mainly because physically
Exactly.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see. That'd be a great experience. All right. Well, thank you very much for telling us about all that. So let's go about your company because
Hmm.
you created Become Performance. So I remember when I started training with you, you were simply Danilo Coppola,
Yeah,
personal trainer. And then I found out on Instagram, you put your story things when you were creating the website. And to be honest, the website looks amazing. And the whole
thank you.
concept as well of it looks amazing. So tell us more because it's not the typical coaching business that you find everywhere, basically. So tell us what it is and what makes it different and unique.
So I think the unique point really is the fact that I don't consider my athletes, anyway, my clients that I collaborate as a um, just one aspect of performance. But that's, I mean, I don't just focus on nutrition or training or the mindset, so to speak, the psychology of it. But I think that those pillars, those concepts are they work in unison. So you can't really focus on nutrition without focusing on training and without focusing on mindset as well. So when
Mhm.
people say it's 80% nutrition, 20% training, I tend to disagree. And I think what I found with some other athletes, some other coaches, is that um, I train you with nutrition, but I don't, even though I'm not doing your training or psychology, I am not concerned about them. I think this is why I collaborate with other, uh, like other colleagues or other, anyway, we have a multidisciplinary team, is that we look at the nutrition, but we also look at the nutrition, how it affects your performance, your training, and how the training affects the nutrition, and so to speak. So it's like you're at the center of this triad, which is
Yeah.
nutrition, training, and mindset.
And as you said, like as you said, it's all things put together, and it's
Yeah.
more of you that works together. It's not just you that pretend to be an expert on everything, even
No,
though
no,
you
no, no.
probably know the basic of everything. But there is a multidisciplinary team that follows the athletes, basically. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, correct. For example, if we do blood work, I normally have a doctor that collaborates with me, and then we look at the blood work with him. If
Mm-hmm.
we look at the maybe some injury pre-ab or rehab, I might deliver the strength and conditioning side of things, but there is a physiotherapist that takes charge of the injury pre-ab and rehab, also the rehabilitation. We are
Yeah.
movement specialists, so there might not be part of the team, so to speak, but I know I can refer to them, so they just jump into the team.
So, and how did these companies start and become performance stars? Because of course you started as a personal trainer, but how did it evolve to that?
So I think the reason was mostly because I wanted to take things to the next level.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are certain things you cannot really do as just self-employed, so by just using your name. So I want to build a company to be more professional and also to elevate the entire business.
Yeah.
Become performance is because it's really, I think, and you probably know this as you're preparing for the sprint, but I think you need to identify, it's about identity. You need to identify with your goal. By that, I mean you need to become the goal on your day-to-day basis, in your day-to-day life. For
Hmm.
example, if you don't identify with your goal of triathletes, you're not going to put the actions in place to do the sprint. Or you might do the sprint, but you might not do it at your best. So my
Yeah.
point is you need to become the person that does that will do the sprint, almost as if you are the person who already done the sprint. So if you do an Ironman, you have to put in place actions that will allow you to become an Ironman athlete, an Ironman triathlete. So otherwise, you're not going to probably finish it. So what's the
Yeah.
point in even doing that? That's why become performance. You need to become the performance that you need to you're trying to achieve.
But that's
Otherwise, you're not going to
basically
achieve.
answered my next question. That was, what does become mean to you? And that's, you
Yeah,
just answered that. So you need to become
yeah,
what you want to be, basically.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. And what's your approach when it comes to trainings across such different disciplines? Because you're training motorsports athlete versus
Mm.
triathletes, or versus bodybuilding, swimmer, and a big variety of different athletes that all of them need a different kind of training.
That's
So
true.
how do
They
you approach them?
that's a good question actually. And to be honest, not many coaches do actually agree with that. There is a still, which I think is a very old mentality of being narrowing your mentality into one niche. But I think you're losing sight of the big picture. For instance, when I work with motorsports, I can implement things that I worked with even with bodybuilders or with
Yeah.
swimmers. When I work with bodybuilders, I can do the same. Or for instance, there was an hockey player I was collaborating with very recently, and we implemented certain training principles coming from the arboreals from other sports. So I don't see it as a um, one size fits all, obviously, but at the same time, I think you can, if you don't borrow from other sports concepts and factors and frameworks, then you're missing out a lot.
Yeah. And that's something that I remember about working with you, is that every time we were having a coaching session, you were coming to me and said, "Oh, I got studied and read up about this. So there is this different kind of training and that different."
Mm,
And you just wanted me to experiment with different kind of training to see
yeah,
which one was more suitable for me and would work
Yeah.
better for me. And I guess that works the same with different disciplines. You can work and put a little bit of each discipline in each one of them.
I think you also it makes you a better coach because you are a kind of a chameleon. By that I mean, if you're faced with, I think coaching is problem solving. So if you're faced with something that's outside of your box of the specific sport, then maybe you can take some ideas from another problem that you solve from another discipline. So I think it's your responsibility as a coach to be good at many disciplines, to know many disciplines, to know how they interconnect and also the differences, definitely.
Right. And at elite level, especially, we know that training is can be really hard and really tiring on the body. And so, you as a coach, how do you keep things human, and how do you make sure that your athletes feel good even though they are under such a big amount of training?
To keep things simple, really, understanding them, as I said, that they are at the center of this triad. So if you start to see some decrements in performance, then you need to sort of understand why, understand what maybe, some of them they're workers, so they might be stressed out because of demanding deadlines. So in that case, you need to be able to dial in into the training side of things, or maybe you need to improve your nutrition. So, of doing both. So it's never to see them as these special human beings, but to actually still see them as human beings. They definitely have talents. They are genetic freaks most of the time, but it doesn't mean they're exempt by the daily challenges. At the end of the day, they face the same. So it's all a matter of, as I said before, problem solving. Find whatever it doesn't is not working and try to solve it in a very
Yeah,
humanly possible, the most humanly possible way, really.
yeah, that's great. And coaching all these high level athletes as well. What's it like behind the scene? Like, for example, what is the biggest misconception that people have about high level athletes?
I think it's not as glamorous as social media portray it to be,
Oh, so you're
because
telling me that now the high level athletes, they are not all blonde, pretty, with perfect
no,
glasses, running around and being always nice looking.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not as glamorous as social media portrays to be. There are a lot of nuances behind the scene that are not often seen, that can really make or break you.
Hmm.
Motorsport is a good example of that. To be honest, I found it to be the um, most demanding workplace I've ever been with, and
Okay.
that's because it's high stakes. We're talking about millions every round, every lap with a $1 million car.
Yeah.
Uh, so you need to be sometimes you need to know when it's also the right time to just shut the hell up and not maybe despite you haven't done anything wrong, or you know you're in the right, maybe you just have to be like a punch ball. Not to say
Yeah.
you have to protect your athletes, but you need to be able to absorb. Okay, so a lot of absorption that is not often shown on social media, for instance. You need to
Yeah.
have a lot of patience, a
That's a
lot
really
of
a really
patience.
good point, because on social media you just see the wins, the happy smiles and all that, but you don't see
Yeah.
what's behind it, all the hard work and all the angry people.
Yeah, no, a lot of patience. Like it's unbelievable how deep down you can dig with
Yeah.
your patience.
And what do you think separates the athletes that make it compared to the one that actually burned out and give up?
Um, Definitely their mindset. Definitely their mindset. And it's the fact that it's not like they don't doubt themselves, but they don't take action on the doubt. They have the same doubts as I said earlier. They are human beings, so they have the same doubts as anybody else. It's just they don't dwell, because my point is, if you start with your doubt, it's a tiny ball, but then if you start to feed the doubt with negative thinking, or maybe you start to, okay, for example, I'm not ready for an Ironman, but then there would be maybe better people, like they work harder than me. I am not gonna finish the swim, blah blah blah. So it is, by this tiny ball is gonna snowball into a massive thing, and you're not
Mhm.
gonna stop, and you're gonna end up by not doing the Ironman.
And I think,
So
yeah, and I think here is when Become Performance comes in with the
yeah,
mindset coach and you and all that, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, you never leave anything. Yeah, as we say, we never left any. No, sorry, how do you say in English? No stones unturned. So you don't leave any stone unturned.
Okay.
You can edit this part.
Yeah, no worries. I will leave it. I'll leave it. I didn't know you say that, so I'm just as bad.
But yeah, no stones unturned. My point is that it's a dynamic process. And the elite athletes, what they found is that they doubt themselves, but they don't take action on the doubt. They just
Okay.
do it. And then if they don't work, if it doesn't work out, okay, what's the next strategy? And they don't change their goal. Their goal is always to be their best. They change their strategy, which is the strategy didn't bring me there. I'm not gonna change my goal. I'm not gonna make my goal less harder. I'm just gonna change my strategy
Yeah.
because the goal is immovable. I need to reach to the goal. That's what
Yeah.
I think what makes really elite athletes from general population or
Yeah.
amateur athletes.
I did. I'm listening to a triathlon podcast
Mm,
and these days, and there is these things that they said. There was not many races that these triathlete didn't finish, but every time he didn't finish a race, he would go there the year after and make sure he did
mm.
the best out of it. So that was to kind of
Yeah,
take redemption for it.
yeah, that's a great point. That's a great way to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and between all your athletes that you've trained and coached, is there anybody that stand out? Anybody that left a mark on you in
Uh,
particular?
I mean, I hope my clients see
If
this,
you're
but
gonna
also,
offend that, yeah, if you're gonna offend anybody, you can just say
no,
you don't want to answer it.
no. I think I'm gonna be edgy and cringe. I'm gonna say all of them. However, there is one in particular which I think we achieved to this day is probably my best achievement, which is Ilaria.
Mhm,
She's a bikini athlete, and we just did everything with her. We started from a very normal person, worker, student at the time, with a normal average body, nothing with this. You couldn't see this because she's genetically good in what she does. And then we started to work together. We started to see the potential, and we wanted to nurture the potential, to feed the potential. And then we basically went from that person to third in the world in bikini, competing in Seattle in the WNBF World Championship. That to this day, I think, still stays a span a little bit above the
yeah,
others.
I remember seeing that on your Instagram.
Mm,
Her transformation was amazing. She went, as you said, from average,
yeah,
everyday like next door girl to absolutely amazing bodybuilder and getting to a really high level. So yeah, I do agree that you did an amazing job with her
thank you.
together. But it's not all yours, but
No. Well, there is a saying in coaching that when you have a good athlete, coaches really don't do much. And I kind of think it's true.
well,
Uh,
yeah, I have to disagree with that because you did really push me those few months that we were together. If it wasn't for you, I would have given up
but
way
then
before.
again, you are a monster when it comes to strength. I still think you're the strongest person I've ever trained. So,
I'm just
uh,
not consistent
yeah,
at it.
well, you will get there, I guess, if you're not. But I don't think you. I think you are consistent in your own way anyway. And obviously, you need to consider there is a
Yeah,
life happening.
I've never been super interested in powerlifting. That's why
Mm,
probably I
yeah,
didn't put my whole thing there. I was
but
more
also
about looking good and be fit and
you have a
yeah.
life going on. You just had a
Oh,
child, like
now,
a
yeah,
kid.
now I've
So
got a baby, three-step kids, wife, and
so
the dog.
it's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
So kudos to you that you still train as a tri with that for triathlon anyway. So well done for that.
So when it comes um, to train and to um, to have a system in place, What do you think is the non-negotiable for peak performance? What do you think is something that you must not skip on?
Recovery, definitely recovery. And with that, I also mean nutrition. So think of recovery as this big bubble, and it's not just not training or to do active recovery or whatever, but it's also your nutrition. Your nutrition is to be dialed in. And I see it as a part of recovery. Recovery between training sessions or recovery during your day off or recovery intra-session, whatever. But recovery is definitely a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, that was also my other question. What role does recovery play in your system? Which you just basically said it is a
Yeah,
big piece of the puzzle
yeah,
for peak performance, isn't it? And it's very important. And I must agree
yeah.
with that. I've just been to Italy for a week with my family, and I felt guilty because I couldn't train as I wanted
Mm,
to. And I came back and I was scared that I was going to be rubbish and going back to being awful. But actually, having that week off of relax, not training, I went for a few swim and that's it. And eating well anyway. I came back and I felt great, stronger than before. I ran faster. I was so much better. So yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
did it
yeah,
by mistake, but it worked.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, to be honest, this is always how it starts because you think you need to keep training in order to, otherwise you lose it. But that's not the case. Recovery plays an important role, really.
And what is it, that myth in fitness that you wish people would unlearn?
Oh,
The
only
biggest
one.
one. But just give me the biggest. Oh, you can mention a couple. I don't mind.
Uh, so I'm gonna say two. One for training and one for nutrition. For training, I think the biggest myth is the cardio kills your gains. That's not true.
Yeah.
Uh, and for nutrition, it's definitely the proteins are gonna somehow kill your kidneys or livers or whatever. Those are probably the biggest two myths. Nutrition, I will also add that no, you cannot lose weight by eating a surplus caloric surplus. You need a calorie deficit to
Mhm.
lose weight. That's definitely a thing
Well,
nowadays.
I'm glad I did something right on one of my videos that I was explaining that the only way to lose weight is to
Yeah,
have a calorie deficit. No matter how
yeah,
much you train, if you go calorie surplus, you're not going to
yeah.
lose weight.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I think for social media now it's sort of like, no, you can't, no, you cannot do that.
Yeah. And
I'm
what do you
sorry.
think about creatine? Because a lot of people say, oh, you can't take too much. So my opinion is that it doesn't matter. You take your 5 milligrams of creatine,
Hmm.
it's not going to hurt you. There are studies out there that show that the reason
Yeah.
bad effects, it doesn't make you bald, even though I am, but it's not the creatine. It doesn't affect your organs or anything. It's actually help your
No.
muscle recovering
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it helps keeping the water and the hydration and everything. But I'll let you talk about it. What do you think about it?
Absolutely. You just said everything, really. There's nothing else to add. The very recent research also shows how creatine might be beneficial also for brain health and heart health. So it's not just a muscular thing, but it's a all over,
Yeah.
it's a whole body thing. I honestly consider creatine to be, if not top one, definitely top three supplements that I think everybody should take. As you say, 5 grams per day, whether you take it before or after your training doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Um, that's just all about it.
One thing,
You
don't
said
buy the
everything else.
creatine gummies because they are a scam.
Yes, don't buy the, especially I don't remember the name. I don't even know if we can say the name, but I don't
No,
remember the
don't.
name
Well,
now.
there is a few of them that I've seen
Yeah,
some awful results on lab tests. So just get the powder, the white powder that
yeah.
tastes disgusting and gritty in your mouth, but it's gonna do the job.
I was talking about this with one of my clients the other day. Uh, maybe creatine, yes, it tastes disgusting, but just add it to a smoothie. It's
Yeah,
perfect,
or
perfect
to a
way to take
protein
it.
shake. Yeah,
Yeah, just add it there and that's it.
yeah.
5 grams easy.
So you mentioned about also about creatine real quick. It's not only for strength athlete and bodybuilders
Oh
and that
yeah,
to grow
yeah,
muscle bigger. I think it's very important for endurance athlete for muscle recovery as well. Am I
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, right. It's the first sort of source of energy that every single contraction uses. So if you're thinking about a sprint triathlon, it's a very quick triathlon. So you will deplete your creatine stores very quickly,
Yeah,
especially as you run. So you want to have those creatine stores very like high, topped up.
yeah.
So it's definitely not only for strength, but also for conditioning, cardiovascular. Yeah.
And you mentioned about creatine being your top three
Hmm.
supplements. What are the other two?
Uh, omega-3.
Well, you said
Uh,
top three. You can list as many as you want. It's good to know which supplements are good for you.
I would say vitamin D, especially if you live in the UK, vitamin D, because unfortunately we don't have much sun there.
Yeah.
Um, and omega-3, omega-3 definitely as well. Creatine, top three. I will also normally recommend vitamin C. Um, if you have some history of injury, although it might not I mean, the research is not really clear about it. I will also add collagen together with vitamin C
Hmm.
to be taken together. Uh, but it's all about it. If you really struggle to find to reach your protein intake, total protein intake, then add some whey protein, whether they are vegan or not.
But I always try
Um,
to reach it with food,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's always
yeah,
better to get it with food than
yeah.
with a shake
If you can, yes. If not, shakes just work fine.
to top
Great
up.
substitute, yeah. But those are really about it. All the rest, I think there is not enough research as of today uh, that really would make me recommend something to take regularly.
Hmm.
I do recommend to take but this is more for performance, specific, beta-alanine, ashwagandha maybe, but those are really more nuanced into performance. For general health, vitamin D, vitamin C, omega-3, creatine, and if you really struggle to find your protein intake daily, whey protein, that
Yeah, great. I take all of them. A part of the
is
vitamin C. I need to get that.
good.
I've been looking up as well zinc and magnesium to
Yeah.
see the benefits. But as you said, there isn't a lot of studies out there that shows a lot of the benefits, but they seem to be beneficial as far as I
Yeah, no,
know.
really good actually. You raise a good point. The reason why I don't list them is because unless you show some deficiencies in those, there is no reason to take them.
Yeah,
So very often those are minerals that we already have. If you have a healthy, balanced diet,
yeah,
you can easily get from food. So whereas all omega-3 and all the rest is very difficult, extremely difficult to get from food.
yeah.
You need to eat something like 120 oranges to really get a good amount of vitamin C. So obviously
Yeah,
you're not
I
gonna do
love
that.
oranges, but I can eat like three or four at a time.
Yeah,
120 is a bit much.
yeah. So maybe the number is a bit too high, but you still need to eat a lot of see. What I would recommend you actually, especially for people that do running or all the listeners that do are more involved into cardiovascular training, electrolytes.
Oh
Although they
yeah,
might not be essential for cramps, it seems to be little research shows how it's most related to hydration rather than electrolytes themselves.
especially if you're
I
a person that sweat a lot, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I'm one of those. I
I
sweat
am as
like a
well.
lot. My sweat is
I
very
always
salty,
have to
so
get a bottle full of electrolyte
yeah,
when I go on a bike ride or a
yeah,
run. I'll have it after I come back home. I'll have lost drink the day
yeah.
before, and then the electrolyte after.
And at least electrolytes definitely, if you are a running athlete or a triathlete or cyclist, definitely should be also within your top six at this point, at least.
Cool. So we're heading towards the end. We're not at the end
Mm.
yet, but nearly.
It's
So,
okay, I'm having fun.
yes, I'm enjoying very much. I could go for hours and hours, but probably
Yes,
can't
that's
keep
it.
a video too long. So most people that will watch this video are not big athletes, let's be honest. But there's most likely people that are out of shape that probably wants to get in shape and get stronger and maybe enter their first race. It could be running, cycling, triathlon, or anything like that. Where should they begin?
Uh, Good question. Keep things simple. Don't try to like overdo it, things. Um, especially when it comes to training. If you are a very sedentary person, don't try to, and you want to do a triathlon, don't just try to do a lot of volume throughout the week, just small steps. For cardiovascular, like running, ideally 10% per week should be added. So very often people tend to go, oh, I'm gonna go for a 5K. If it's fine, then they do another 5K, and that's 10K weekly. And then obviously can lead to injury. In fact, the most common are shin splints, knee injuries, all this stuff. And this is because people tend to rush into training.
I've done that. I'm guilty of that. I went from a
Me too.
5K and said, oh, I feel great. I got to 10K and then I had to stay. I had painful knees going up and down the
Yeah.
stairs for 3 days.
Yeah, I did the same. I'm a coach, so it's I should be more ashamed about that. But it just you sort of get the feeling, oh, it doesn't apply to me. No, it does apply to you. So simple steps. And also when it comes to nutrition, it's very difficult and easy to get confused, especially in today's misinformation. So small steps there. If you think that we're doing with my clients, if I see that the nutritionist needs to be attacked from several aspects, I just focus on the most important. And very often is they don't eat enough protein, for example.
Yeah.
So for the first part of the block, maybe we focus on eating enough protein. So then this once they have this more victory, we start adding more stuff to it.
So it's
But if
like
you start
stacking
to
little victory
yeah, yeah,
one on top of another
yeah,
and then get to the
yeah.
goal. Yeah.
Because if you start to build an entire skyscraper without the foundation, it's extremely, you're just gonna build frustration and mistakes and failures. And then obviously that might demotivate people and then they just leave or they don't continue.
Yeah. And what would be your advice to somebody that is overweight and fit and it feels
Mm.
totally stuck? Where should they start?
I think in a way they should kind of follow the same advice, so start simple. I normally what I would recommend is to choose your less evil. By that I mean you need to be in a calorie deficit. We know that. So choose your evil. Choose whether you want to achieve this calorie deficit by doing more exercise, so by moving more. And perhaps you can keep eating the same until that doesn't work. Then you decide what to do. Or you start by eating less and move the same. But if you start to do both, then again, it's not an easy task. It's not a simple task. So you start to eat less and increase your activity. What happens is that yes, you're creating a calorie deficit, but it's a massive calorie deficit.
Yeah.
And there is a point that your body will sort of get stuck, and then you don't know which one to do. If you cannot do more activity, you can eat less. So what do I touch? And that's where then again people tend to feel stuck.
Yeah.
Um, so keep things simple.
Yeah. One advice that I gave to people on one of my videos as well is that you don't have to do everything together all at once.
Yeah,
And I mean, tracking calories is a nightmare at the beginning. Nobody likes doing it. It's
boring.
the worst thing ever. So my advice was, yeah, start walking a bit more. Aim to do
Yeah,
10,000 steps a day and track your calorie. Don't worry about what you eat. Just track
yeah,
it and get into the habit of tracking it.
yeah,
Because after a month of tracking calorie, kind of becomes natural and it takes seconds to do it. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
once you get
absolutely.
like that, then you can think about maybe reducing them a little
Yeah,
bit at a time.
you're right, absolutely. I think there are many ways to do that. One way could be just track one day, and then it's not the best advice, I guess, but then just stick to that meal prep for at least 3 days and then do a game. So at least you know how much you're eating without
Yeah.
tracking. Um, weight, people tend to lose their mind around weight scales, but that's the thing is because they weigh themselves only once, and it's often after a weekend. So maybe the weekend they are just got a little bit crazy, and then the weight fluctuates. So
Yeah.
my advice, if you can mentally sustain that weight every day, and then
And do
just
an
cut,
average.
do an average, yeah, and then
Yeah.
see how that goes. If it goes up, it's fine. I normally change my strategy every 2 weeks. If I see that
Yeah.
the weight is still the same, I change it after 2 weeks.
Yeah, the weight fluctuates so much. I noticed with
Yeah.
myself as well. There was a week that I was stuck at 103 kilograms, and I thought, oh, I
Mm.
must do something, but I didn't. I kind of
Hmm.
tried to stuck with it, and a week after it was 101.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
probably the diet, the sodium intake, everything impacts it.
Sleep, if maybe if you don't sleep
Yeah,
great because of your obviously you have a newborn, that affects massively the weight the next day. If you sleep 20 minutes, 30 minutes more or less, it's gonna affect your weight. So to choose one day and everything, your destiny needs to be set on that day, decided on that day, that I think is a
yeah,
bit too much.
yeah. And what do you think is more important, structure or motivation?
Structure.
I agree with you on that. Yeah,
Definitely
motivation
structure.
comes and goes.
Yes, yes. Structure. I do think you don't have to paralyze yourself by our analysis, which is something that I do a lot, especially used to do a lot. But that's, I mean, don't start when everything is perfect. We said this earlier. Just try to have a plan. Even the worst plan works better than the best plan if done with consistency.
Yeah,
So be consistent and just start and then try to adjust and amend whatever doesn't work. And keep everything that works, just keep it.
yeah.
Keep it.
And talking about things that works, was that one mindset shift that helped you the most in your own journey?
I think it's definitely the, the understanding that in order to achieve whatever I want to, not only in sports or but in business, especially in life, I would say, is that you need to identify with that goal, with the person that is already there. Um, it's a kind of a new mentality that I started to act upon maybe only from a few years. Stoicism and philosophy are really helped me in developing that.
Hmm.
But I think identifying with your goal, identifying with my goal as a person, as a coach, as an athlete, allows me to put all the actions that I have to in motion. So I don't, strive. I don't do things that are not compatible with the goal.
So going back to many questions ago, you become the
Mm.
goal, you become
Yeah,
the
yeah,
performance.
yeah, yeah,
So we go back
yeah.
to that again.
That's that.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
great. Yeah, that's great. That was the last question, believe it or
Okay.
not. And I think we've been going for an hour or so. So I think the
Okay,
length
we kept it short.
was, yeah, we kept it short. We could have gone for 3, 4 hours easy.
Like a Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not that good. I'm not that
I mean,
famous yet.
it's
Can't
short.
afford it.
It's short by podcast length. So normally they're like, I don't know, about an hour actually. Yeah, what I'm saying, what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, should be all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it should be okay. Should be
Well,
okay.
Danilo, thank you very much for coming on today. And I've learned a lot from you in the past, and hearing you today made me realize that it makes even more sense that you do what you do. You're really passionate,
Thank
really
you.
knowledgeable, and you're just like, I don't know, just a universe of knowledge. Every time I talk to you,
I
I
try.
learn so much. So
Thank you.
thank you very much. And for anybody watching, if you're thinking of taking your fitness seriously to the next level, whether you want to race, lift, or just stop feeling like crap, you can go and follow the needle on social media and check out Become Performance, and soak up everything that he's got to tell you and to transfer to you all he's doing. I'll put all the links down in the description of this video. And if you want to see more episodes like that, you know what you need to do. You just need to comment, and please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button. And Danilo, anything you want to tell anybody before we leave?
No, I mean, besides, thank you for inviting me into the podcast. It was actually a lot of fun. And I'm also really happy to see the effects, even minor that I could have had on your journey. So definitely it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see that. But then again, thank you for inviting me. It's been a lot of fun. a lot, a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it's been really enjoyable, and the effects have not been minor, but they've been massive. If it wasn't for you, I would still be 120 kilograms lazy on the couch watching TV
No.
and do nothing. All right, well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.